Hello and welcome to Entirely English. We are continuing with our series of videos on British superstitions. And today I need to apologize first because this video is late. I did try using my phone as the camera to try to avoid all the problems I have with sound. Failure. I think it's vanity actually. The HD camera is like, "Argh!" Too scary to see this face in HD. So I'm re-recording on my computer webcam. Anyway, before we get started on this installment of British Superstitions, I want to say a quick hi and welcome to Andre. I'm not going to try to say your surname. I'll just make a mess of it and embarrass us both. So there it is, Andre. Welcome to our lovely little community. I hope you enjoy it. Do pop some comments below. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and what you're interested in. So welcome, and welcome to this installment of British Superstitions. I did mention at the beginning that I was going to do some in groups and then some random ones, but that seemed to me a bit hit or miss. Make it difficult for people to identify which videos they really wanted to watch. So I'm trying to categorize this. In the last video, we looked at superstitions around numbers, and the first one was superstitions around cats. And today we are going to look at superstitions surrounding the outside. So the next video will be superstitions indoors. Today we're doing outdoors. And we are going to begin with one I'm pretty sure everybody knows. And it's not, I would say, superstition really. It's more like advice. So people say it's unlucky to walk under a ladder. There's no mystical reason for this. The idea is if you walk under a ladder, somebody could drop something on you from above. A bucket of water, a brick, whatever. So walking under a ladder is dangerous. It's also dangerous for whoever's up the ladder. If you knock it, he comes down, you both get hurt. So not really a superstition per se, more like just a way of giving good advice to people. It's stupid to walk under ladders. So we got that one out of the way. The first proper superstition we're going to look at is magpies. Some of you might not know what a magpie is because it's a different name in your culture. So I put a picture of one there. It's essentially a crow or a raven wearing a tuxedo. It's black and white, like penguins and pandas. And we have this superstition that if you see one magpie, it is an omen of bad luck. And the only way to break that bad luck, to stop that happening, is to say, "Good morning, Mrs. Magpie, how are you?" So you greet the magpie, and that supposedly breaks the curse. But there's a whole poem that goes with magpies. And it goes, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. And we used to have a children's television show called Magpie, where they used that rhyme as a song at the beginning. So magpies, if you see one magpie, you must greet it, otherwise it will bring you bad luck. There is a legend in parts of Britain that cutting down a rookery will bring bad luck. Rookery definition. Okay. And it will bring bad luck to the person and the family of that person who commits that crime. There was a story in the Bradford Observer about 100 years ago about a car accident that happened at a crossroads. The crossroads in the West Ridings of Yorkshire, where 4 fatal accidents had happened previously. And this one we're talking about was a car accident where a lady called Barbara Firth was a passenger in a car that skidded and went off the road. She was killed. And while the authorities said it's because the road had a slippery surface and it's a dangerous place, the locals said no, no, no. It's because Willie Firth, her father, cut down a rookery 15 months ago. Okay, 15 months might seem a long time to wait for a curse to come to fruition. But there does seem to be some coincidental evidence with this, because even while the woodcutters were doing the job Willie had paid them to do, cutting down the rookery, Willie himself died at the age of 43. And the curse, if we want to call it that, didn't stop there, because 9 months later, his only son Roland died in a car accident. So, was it the curse of the rookery, or just coincidence? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, staying with birds and rookeries, we have ravens in Britain. Ravens are like blackbirds again, like the magpie. They're just all black, and they make that horrible sound. And they tend to be dirty, horrible creatures. But we have a superstition regarding the ones that are at the Tower of London. There is a superstition that if the ravens leave the Tower of London, Britain will fall. So, to this end, there is actually a person called the Raven Keeper. His job is to feed, protect, nurse the ravens if they need it, make sure they're healthy. There's a select few they keep there, and other ones, obviously, gravitate towards the place as well. But the ravens of the Tower of London are a very popular sight for tourists. Some people say that the ravens have their wings clipped to stop them flying away. But no, as far as I'm aware, they don't do that. And if you look at this video here that I managed to find, you can see the raven keeper releasing the ravens from their cage where they've slept overnight into the grounds, and they fly. So the only other one I want to add about superstitions regarding birds, and I find it a very weird one. People say it's good luck if a bird poos on you. Walking down the street, oh my God. People say that's good luck. I don't know why. My car was covered in bird crap and I still managed to write it off, so I'm not sure where the good luck is in that. But it is a superstition. Oh, good luck. Not good luck when you're on the way to the job interview and you've got bird crap on your shoulder. Now, the next one is when you're out, really, normally far out in the countryside, you might come across a circle in the grass, which looks like tufted grass in a circle, or a circle of mushroom. Now, people say these are fairy circles. This is where the fairies dance. As Titania told her fairies in Midsummer Night's Dream, fairies dance around. It's about this circle. Apparently, it's bad luck if you step into that circle because you could be sucked into fairyland, which might sound pleasant, but when you start studying fairies, it's not. They use you as a toy. You lose your soul and your mind. So if you ever see a fairy circle when you're out, walk around it. And again, in that sort of grassy area, you might come across a four-leafed clover. There was a song. See if I can find an extract. There will be an extract here, unless YouTube copyright infringe me for it, in which case I'll have to edit it out.
I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I overlooked before.
Four-leafed clover. Supposed to be good luck because they're very rare. And skeptics say that's the only reason they're good luck, because they are rare. You very rarely see them. They're normally 3 leaves. However, other people say that the 4 leaves represented the cross upon which Jesus was crucified. Take it as you will. Either way, it's regarded as lucky. People often, when they find them, will press them between bits of plastic and keep them forever. And along with the lucky plants, we have lucky heather. Heather is a plant that predominantly grows in Scotland. Lucky heather is white heather. Heather is normally a sort of lilac purple colour, so when you discover white heather, which is supposedly rare, it is lucky. And there's a whole mythology about a woman called Malvina who was crying, and her tears turned the heather from pink to white. This became popular in the Victorian era. Apparently, while Queen Victoria was staying in Balmoral, she saw her maids getting excited picking white heather from the grounds. When she inquired about it, she was told about this story of Malvina, and from that day onwards she was often seen with heather, lucky white heather, in her hands, on her lapel, in her hair, and it became a tradition with the royal family, I believe, that white heather should be part of a wedding outfit. The bride will have her bouquet with some white heather in it, or the garland around her head, decorating the dress. There'll be some white heather somewhere, supposedly. People also say it's lucky not because of the Malvina mythos, but because it only grows on ground where blood has never been shed. So somewhere where there's never been a battle or a murder. So the white heather carries that purity with it in the sort of Victorian era. In fact, right through Edwardian, etc. You would see the girls on the street in London. White heather, Mr. White heather for your girlfriend. I can't remember if Audrey Hepburn in My Fair Lady, she was selling flowers. I can't remember if she was selling white heather. Again, if she was, I'll put a little clip in. One day, workers in Harper were digging up the crossroads when they found a body, what was left of a body, with a wooden stake driven through its heart. Dun, dun, dun. But obviously people said, oh no, people believe in vampires around here. Poor man, he was killed as a vampire. It's not true. Years ago, when somebody committed suicide, they were not allowed to be buried in consecrated ground. So rather than burying them in the graveyard, they would be buried in unconsecrated ground. And there was this idea that if you buried them at a crossroads and drove a stake through their heart, it would pin them there. They would not be able to return and haunt the people they've left behind. There is also a belief that when you bury them at a crossroads, the constant traffic going across the road would stop them being able to rise up, so they were pinned to the ground. So that was a superstition. Suicides and people who were not buried in consecrated ground could come back and haunt you, so they needed to be dealt with. It doesn't happen these days, as far as we know, but it's interesting nonetheless. And so is the rabbit's foot charm. Now, you might have seen these. People often have them on key rings, a rabbit's foot for good luck. Again, people might say, ho, it wasn't very lucky for the rabbit, was it? Well, it does seem a bit strange, but in old folklore, it was believed black rabbits were the reincarnation of people. White rabbits were witches. And as you know, if you've watched the previous videos, if you haven't, feel free to zoom back and watch those. So when you killed a white rabbit, you took its feet, and the feet acted as a charm, a ward against evil. That's why they're considered lucky. You can imagine the idea that if you're wearing the foot of a witch, another witch who wants to give you the evil eye can't. She'll see that and go, oh no, he killed my sister, I should run away. Yeah. So the idea was that the rabbit's foot should be a white rabbit's foot. It was a charm because it was the foot of a witch. And the last one I'm going to do for today is not so common, but it is really interesting. And it's bread and quicksilver. Apparently, if you took a loaf of bread and filled it with quicksilver, that's the old name for mercury, and put it in a lake or canal, river, body of water, it would float, and then it would stop dead over the place where a dead body lay. It's like a magnet attracted to the body. So if you wanted to know where the suicide had ended up, or where the murder victim was, you'd get the loaf of bread, fill it with quicksilver, drop it in the water, watch it, and where it stopped, that's where the body was. I wonder if CSI know about that. If you know any superstitions from Britain that I've missed out, please pop them in the comments. If you have similar superstitions or very different ones, again, pop in the comments, tell us about them. Maybe magpies are lucky in your country, or maybe all birds are considered good luck or bad luck. Black ones are bad luck and white ones are good luck. Tell me, share your information with us. We're really interested to know. And again, Andre, give us some information about yourself. If you've enjoyed this, please click the like button. If you want to stay up to date with this, then please click subscribe. And if you know anybody who you think should be interested in these, please do click the share button, particularly anybody who is studying English, because learning about the culture is core to learning the language. It's been lovely to see you here. Thank you for joining me. Do stay well. Again, sorry this one's a little bit late, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Bye-bye.